up, Anu?
What's your? Do you have a predicament or not prediction? But how do you see this fight going?
What I see so far at this point is, call me crazy, but I think it's whoever strikes first.
Wow.
I think that both these guys have the power to finish one another. Both these guys, of course, have the eye and everything, all the intangibles. I mean, we can't speak enough about either of these guys and their intangibles and their abilities. I really do think. I think it's whoever strikes first, whoever lands that punch first.
Now, clearly, you've been in the ring. Thank you.
At 147. And there's a lot of things you could say to that. I mean, we say speed makes power. So when we talk about Manny Pacquiao's power, is it true brute strength, or is it just that snap that he has behind that speed that creates that power? So I think that Manny has a great job, has a great knack for beating guys with a punch and really stinging them, and kind of like a scorpion, you get kind of paralyzed in that moment, and you stay there too long, and that's all she wrote. So. But I think overall we can say that Errol Spence Jr., even though he's younger, he's a stronger man.
What's your prediction for the fight?
I don't know who's gonna win this fight. I really do up and down. I love this fight. I love this fight for the styles. I love this fight for obviously one guy being more mature and just trying to continue to conquer the sport, conquer the division, conquer the younger generation, and of course, Errol Spence Jr., everything that he's been through and come through, and now just trying to continue his legacy. Man, I love this fight up and down, man, for every reason you can imagine. I can't pick a winner. I don't really want to pick a winner. I don't like making predictions in the first place, but I really don't want to pick a winner because I just think that there's so much greatness within this fight. I don't want to narrow my mind to one thing and expect one thing, and when I see a different result, or just be so narrow-minded on that I don't see a different outcome, So I'm keeping my mind open to all the possibilities, man. But the most open possibility I do have is who's gonna land that straight left first.
Now you talk about Errol Spence. You fought Danny Garcia, you fought Errol Spence. Spence said he was at almost 80%. Did you notice a few ticks off the fastball with Errol Spence in that fight?
I would agree with his 80%. And that's not from, I think that's maybe from being in the ring with him, of course from studying him. I didn't see that he was moving slow or anything like that. Just saw that there's a little bit of spice that he has, and I don't think he had all of his ingredients that night. But it's, it doesn't take everything to beat everybody. I think it took everything for him to beat me. I don't know if he's ever publicly said that, but I think it took everything that he had to beat me. I don't think it necessarily took everything that he had to beat Garcia. Garcia's a little bit more dimensional than myself, so I think that helped as well. But I did see him 80%, but when you figure everything that he had been through and come into the ring at 80, 85%, you gotta expect him to be upwards to 95, 100% for this fight.
Do you think the younger generation, Shawn, will look at Manny Pacquiao and saying, look, this is a guy who runs stuff today, it's the best, to get to make this fight possible, I need to be the same.
I just asked Keith if he had watched The Kings yet, and basically was asking him that because if you watch The Kings, this isn't anything new. This is like a part of history. Guys come out of retirement to kind of reclaim their glory. They come out of retirement chasing glory. They come out of retirement for the paychecks, and the list goes on. So we've seen this before, and I think that if you watch The Kings, you see it multiple times with Leonard specifically, but you see it again with Duran. I didn't know that part of the story of Duran's story, and you even see it with Hearns, which I was aware of. But you see this part of history. You see guys chasing glory, and you see guys conquering. So if anything, we need to take a look at history and use that as a possibility as well. I do. I think that to your question, I think that the younger generation should look at what Manny Pacquiao is doing and understand that we each have our own legacy, and we understand what we want our legacy to be, if we understand what we want out of life, out of this sport, don't stop until you get it, you know. And it's clearly something that, that Manny hasn't achieved yet, or something else that he saw that he wants to achieve. So I appreciate it.
There's a lot of legacy-defining fights that could be made at 147.
Yeah.
What's the next fight for you?
I don't know. And I'll go ahead and say this: they showed the on the video. They showed that the champions right now, obviously Errol Spence Jr., and then they also show Dennis Ugas and Jamal James with the WBA, and they of course show Terrence Crawford. And I've been publicly saying that I wanted that Terrence Crawford fight. I do want that fight, but we talk about our side of the yard. I kind of looked over at Keith. I didn't say it, but I was like, why don't you go get Ugas? I'll go get Jamal, and then, you know, we'll figure out what we're going to do after that, you know? So, you know, just saying all that to say there's a lot of great fights to be made. This is a great time to be in the sport. And I think that if we all make the right decisions and do the right things, we all can kind of lead the sports with our head held high, you know?
What's ultimately the thing that's stopping from you fighting Terrence Crawford? You've been talking about it for a long time.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what that is. I don't know. I can't. I don't really like to speculate, you know, and all that kind of stuff. I understand the business of boxing, but when it comes to different promoters working together and networks working together and all that kind of stuff, the only thing that I can say is I've seen it work once, now almost twice, recently with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. So it gives me hope that something can be done, and I would love something like that for myself and for Terrence Crawford. You know, obviously you guys see me, I'm sold on it, but I don't know if it'll happen, and I'm not salty about it. You know?
When you watched Thurman fight Pacquiao, did you think Thurman was shocked at first by the speed and because of that?
I'm telling you, it takes a minute. It takes a minute, and we talk in terms of boxing, and what I mean by a minute, it could take upwards to 2 or 3 rounds for you to kind of settle into everything that man is doing. And so with that being said, yeah, I do think that Keith was a little shocked. I think that he was ready, but not ready enough. And